Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to Learning Pauper. This is Kevin, aka the Nameless Mist, and today we're doing something a little bit different. We're going to be playing a slightly different deck than the mono black control you're used to that I've been playing. This is mono black Tortured Existence. And before I start this deck tech, I'd like to shout out, credit for this deck goes to username Fruity on Tapped Out, and he has a whole bunch of Pauper decks on there. You can go check it out. I'll have links in the description to his folder. And he has all the tier 1 decks and a bunch of other decks too. This is not a tier 1 deck. This is more of a casual fun deck. It has Tortured Existence in it, which is my personal favorite Pauper card. Alright, so let's get into the deck text. So like I said, this is mono black Tortured Existence, named after the namesake of the deck, which is Tortured Existence, obviously, this card. And like I said, this is my favorite Pauper card, partly just because of the art. The art is just awesome in my opinion. I really like it. Anyway, it's a 1 black mana for an enchantment. You can pay 1 black mana and choose and discard a creature card, and you can return a target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. So this card is pretty versatile. There's a lot of things you can do with it. So the deck really works with a lot of sacrificing creatures and discarding cards and then bouncing them back. And then there's many different versions of Tortured Existence, but this is mono black Tortured Existence. So it's kind of like mono black control merged with the Tortured Existence deck. Alright, so let's get on to the creatures of the deck. The first creature, Chittering Rats, runs a full play set of it, and that's a 3 mana 2/2. And when it comes into play, target opponent puts a card from his or her hand on top of his or her library. So that's just a really good tempo card. It's basically setting your opponent back a full turn. The second card in the deck is 3 of Phyrexian Rager, which is another 3 mana 2/2. And when it enters the battlefield, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. So just again, another just really good tempo card. Get some good card draw in there. The next creature in the deck is the 2 of Kumbaj Witches, which is really good against like 1/1s or just anything with 1 health. You tap it to do 1 damage to any target, and then your opponent also does the same. So they usually end up going face, but usually end up killing a creature or a token or something. The next creature in the deck is Stinkweed Imp, which again is one of my favorite Pauper cards. And it's a 3 mana 1/2 flyer. And it basically has Death Touch. Whenever it does combat damage to a creature, destroy that creature. And also has Dredge 5. So when it's in your graveyard, you can choose, instead of drawing a card, instead to mill the top 5 cards of your deck into your graveyard, and then draw the Stinkweed Imp from your graveyard. And it's just really versatile. It's just an excellent blocker, especially against flyers. With the Death Touch, it's just a really good card overall. The next creature in the deck is a full playset of Grey Merchant of Asphodel, aka Gary, and he's a 5 mana 2/4. And what he does is when he enters the battlefield, each opponent loses X life, where X is your devotion to black, and you gain life equal to the life lost this way. And devotion is the number of black mana skulls, the little symbols of all your permanents on your deck. So creatures, enchantments, all your permanents. An interesting note about him is that he does count his own 2 mana, his own 2 black mana. That counts too, so it's always 2 more than it shows on the card on Magic Online. The last creature in the deck we're running is 4 of full playset of Valtorous Aven, a 4 mana 2/3 flyer. Has Exploit, which is when the creature enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice a creature, and when you do, you draw 2 cards, you lose 2 life. So this card is a really good tempo card, just like Phyrexian Rager, get that card draw, and it's also a really good blocker against flyers, especially like white weenie decks that have 1/1 flyers, like the Hawks. Alright, so now on to the enchantments of the deck. The first enchantment is a 2 of Deadweight, which gives an enchanted creature -2/-2. It's just good removal, and then you can use it for trades and stuff, which is really good. Next is a 2 of Oubliette, which I know it looks very complicated, but it's really not. It's basically a black I can English. It's basically a black pathway to nowhere, or journey to nowhere. It exiles the creature and all the auras attached to it, and if Oubliette gets destroyed, the creature and all the auras on it comes back, basically. And the last enchantment is obviously Tortured Existence. We have a 3 of, and we've already covered what that does. On to the sorceries of the deck. The first sorcery is a 3 of Chainer's Edict. Target player sacrifices a creature and flashback for 7. Just a really, really good removal spell. Really good against hexproof and things like that, just because it's a sacrifice, not a targeted, so it's just a really strong removal spell. Second sorcery in the deck is a 3 of Duress. Just really good against control and just, well, most decks really. Just really good discard. The target player reveals his or her hand, and you choose a non-creature or non-land card from it, and the target player discards that card. So really good at hunting out counterspells. And the last sorcery in the deck is a 4 of Sign of Blood. Target player draws 2 cards and loses 2 life, and the cool thing about that is it's target player, not just you. So you can use it to finish off an opponent if, say, they're at 1 or 2 life. You can use that to finish them off. Other than that, it's just a really strong tempo card, really good card draw. Now onto the land base of the deck. The land base is really simple, just a 4 of Barren Moor for cycling, 1 of Bajuka Bug for graveyard hate, and 18 swamps. Now onto the sideboard, we have 1 more Duress to make the full playset. We have 4 Doomblades just for cheap removal. We have 4 Shrivels for our aggro decks and tokens and all sorts of white weenie, all sorts of stuff like that. We have 2 Wrench Mines against control decks. And then we have 4 Choking Sands against Tron. And yeah, that's pretty much the deck. So it's pretty simple. Like I said, it's basically mono black control combined with Tortured Existence. So it's pretty straightforward. We're going to play a few games with it. Hope you guys enjoy. We'll see you guys in the games. Thanks for watching. Peace.